Hey everyone, thanks for watching. So today's video is going to be a new Will I Buy It. I post my Will I Buy It videos every single Wednesday where I'm talking about some new makeup releases and launches, letting you know a little bit about them and then letting you know if I'm planning to pick them up or pass over them. As always, I have a lot to talk about this week, so why don't we go ahead and get started. So first up, I got a lot of tags on this new release from Wet n Wild. They are coming out with a highlighter palette. It's the Mega Glow highlighting palette, which includes the Mega Glow highlighters in there. They have 4 limited edition shades in here: Sweet Peony, Wild Cosmo, Diamond Lily, and Blushing Azalea. I'm reading from the Trendwood One Instagram, so her page will be linked down below. It's going to be $14.99. It looks like it will be available at Ulta Beauty, online at Wet n Wild, and then also at Walmart. All right. Getting lots of questions on these, and I feel like a lot of people are really excited over this. My first thought was like, oh my gosh, that's super cute. It kind of reminded me of like the Anastasia Glow Kit type of packaging when you first look at it, and when you open it up, the highlighters in there are very, very large. So one thing that kind of caught my attention right away is that all the 4 shades inside will be limited edition. I think I would have been more excited for this one if it was some of their regular shades, because I've only purchased one of the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighters and I can't think of which shade it was in now. If I can remember, I will put it here on the screen. It's already been a long day. It's only 2:30, so that's where I'm at right now. But I have one, and there's other ones that I want to try, and I feel like if maybe there was some in this palette, I would be like, yes, I should get this palette, because then I could have them all in one, but they're all limited edition, and I'm that person who doesn't get really drawn to limited edition. I know a lot of people feel with limited edition they have to go out and buy it right away, and I'm just like the total opposite. Limited edition doesn't really do anything for me. So when I saw all the shades in there were limited edition, I was kind of like, I don't know, that doesn't really impress me too much. I'll say that I appreciate that the shades are pretty different. Sometimes with like highlighter palettes or blush palettes, when you're getting all of the same product, sometimes things can look a little bit too similar. And I don't like that, because I don't want to buy a kit that has different shades but they all look like they're just a slight variation of the other. There's not really like, oh, these are kind of similar to one another. Like, no, I feel like they are all very distinct. So I do appreciate that for sure, and that the pan sizes are huge. Like I said, $14.99. I guess that's not like a terrible price for 4 highlighters, especially when they are so big. I know when some of you were tagging me or sending it to my direct messages on Instagram, you were saying that you thought the price was too high. And I can totally see that. I mean, drugstore is definitely creeping up there with basically everything lately. So, but I guess in my opinion, I don't know, $15, it doesn't seem terrible to me for these 4 big highlighters. But I do have to say that for me, I am gonna pass over this one. I don't feel like I need another highlighting palette right now. I did just buy the Becca Face palette, the one that came out for holiday. I have Opal on my cheeks right now from that palette. I did a highlight declutter, and I'm pretty happy with all the highlights I have in my collection. I felt like I was kind of getting really cluttered there for a while. And then, like I said, I do have the one Wet n Wild highlighter, and I like it, but I don't feel like I'm super in love with it. Like, I like it, I didn't return it. You know, I didn't declutter it when I did my highlight declutter, but I'm not like super in love with them yet, which I know a lot of people are, so I'm like waiting for myself to fall in love finally, but it hasn't happened yet. So I don't think I would need a highlight palette with 4 of these shades. Again, with all of them being limited edition, I would rather just purchase some of the regular highlights. That's how I feel about limited edition. I would just rather purchase the regular items that are out. But this one definitely caught my attention. I know a lot of you seem very excited about it, so I would love to know if you're planning on getting it. Do you like the highlight shades that they chose in there? Do you think the price is too high? Do you think it's just right? Let us know your feedback down below, but I'm gonna go ahead and skip on the Wet n Wild highlight palette. So the next item I was getting quite a few tags on is from Voss. They are coming out with a new eyeshadow palette. This is called Taupe Notch. Play on words there, taupe instead of top notch. And it is going to be releasing October 24th on their website, and then it will also be in Sephora. Violet Voss is coming to Sephora, which I am quite excited about. I do own a Violet Voss eyeshadow palette, the Holy Grail, and I really enjoy it. And I have wanted to try more of their products, and I think once they come into Sephora, I'll kind of be more apt to do that. You know, things for me like better shipping, faster shipping, rewards, points, you know, all of that good stuff. So I'm very excited. Let me know if you're excited that Violet Voss is coming into Sephora, because I sure am. So this eyeshadow palette will be available on both the Violet Voss website and also on Sephora. I believe it will be $45. I didn't see the price on their Instagram, but there are other eyeshadow palettes that have the same amount of shades. They are $45, so that is what I am assuming that this one will be. I did the double take because, like I said, I've been wanting to try more Violet Voss eyeshadow palettes, knowing that it was going into Sephora. I did the double take, and I kind of had to look at it and stare at it for a while. I mean, it's a very monochromatic palette for sure. It's full of browns and taupes, obviously, as the name would suggest. But to me, I feel like it's just too similar. Sometimes I can struggle because, especially with like the warm tone palettes, I'm like, oh, I feel like there's so many similar shades in here, but they are different. Like, they're different enough that I can go ahead and, you know, this will be worth it for me. But looking at this one, I'm like, I just don't know. It just looks like I could create two looks with this. I don't know what I can do here. And I was watching Babs Beauty Snapchat the night before I'm filming this, actually, and she was swatching it, and she even said that there was 3 shades. I think it was in the second row. It was like 3 matte browns. She was like, I don't really see a difference in these. These all look to be the same to me. And I'm like, see, that was my concern with this palette. I think it's almost just too monochromatic. And my Holy Grail palette that I have, it has a ton of matte browns in there. I love doing a matte brown smoky eye. It's one of my favorite looks, and I constantly reach for my Violet Voss Holy Grail for that look. It's my favorite palette to do matte brown smoky eye. So I'm like, would I need a full palette of all of those kind of tones when I know I love my Holy Grail for that? It just didn't really seem worth it to me. So I talked myself out of buying it. I was like, no, I think it's too monochromatic for me. I feel like I have similar shades in the Holy Grail that I enjoy very much. So I'm gonna pass over that one, but I will continue to be watching it. I'm excited to see what all inventory goes on the Sephora website. I'm not sure if everything will go on Sephora. I'm not sure if they'll only have a few select items to start off with. I'm not really sure, but I'll be curious. I'll definitely be checking out Violet Voss on Sephora as well. But of course, I'd love to know, did the Taupe Notch eyeshadow palette call to you? Do you feel drawn to it? Or is this just not your cup of tea like it's not mine? Let us know. So next one is some new releases from Huda Beauty. She is putting out a lot lately, but she is releasing 4 new mini eyeshadows. So there's going to be Smoky Obsession, Electric Obsession, Warm Brown Obsession, and Mauve Obsession. Each one includes 9 shades. It's going to be $27. Will be available November 1st at Cult Beauty, November 2nd at Sephora. So obviously each of the palettes has its own, you know, theme to it. $27 for 9 shades. I don't think that's a bad price. I haven't tried any of the Huda eyeshadow palettes. Her bigger palettes are $65, I believe. The first one, the Rose Gold, I didn't hear many great reviews on it, so I passed over that one. And it was kind of a big reason why I passed over the second one that just released pretty recently, the Desert Dusk one, I think is what it was called. But I have been hearing better reviews on that one. So sometimes I'm kind of more attracted to these mini palettes. Like I talked about the Natasha Denona holiday eyeshadow palettes in my last holiday video, because her, you know, bigger palettes are so expensive. I was like, maybe I should try some of these smaller palettes. So with this one, I mean, I feel like definitely the ones that I'm more attracted to are Warm Brown Obsession, of course, and then also the Mauve one. But I don't know, to be honest, to be really honest, and I don't know if I'm going to be not super popular here when I say this, but these didn't cause me to do a double take. Like, I saw it, I saw a tag came in on Instagram, so I went and I pulled up the photo and I was like, huh, mini eyeshadow palettes. Wonder what I should eat for lunch. Like, I didn't have a strong reaction to it for whatever reason. Sometimes I have strong reactions to items, like I do a double take on an item that I'm like, why did that catch your attention of all things? And then there's other items like this Huda one that I'm like, I think I'm supposed to be excited about this one and like really pumped for it. But for some reason, it didn't cause me to have that reaction. And a lot of times what I say in the Will I Buy It videos is that if you don't immediately do a double take or have some sort of reaction to a product, just move on. Just move on to the next one, because there's going to be a new release every single day. So I try really hard not to just get sucked into the hype, because I feel like these palettes are probably going to be pretty hyped up. I try not to get sucked into the hype or to talk myself into makeup, because there's so many other makeup products that I want to buy and that I am buying, and yeah, that's kind of what I feel about the Huda ones. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm supposed to be attracted to these, but you know, I picked out the two that I thought maybe would interest me the most, but really even looking at the shades, I'm like, I know I own those in different palettes. I just am not sure that I need it. And I like Huda Beauty as a brand. I like her eyelashes, love the liquid lipsticks. I do want to try out the foundation. I have it on my loves list at Sephora right now. I do want to try out the foundation. I'm curious about that one, but for some reason these palettes, I don't know what it is with her eyeshadow palettes. You know, maybe because of the reviews that came in on the first one that I'm still leery. I don't know, because like I said, I'm hearing good things about the second palette, but again, the biggest thing that it comes down to for me is that I didn't do a double take. So I don't need to talk myself into it. So we're just gonna pass over them. So I'd love to know if you are curious about these. Have you tried the Huda eyeshadows? Are these gonna be your first purchase? You like having the mini palettes? I don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts. So let me know down below. And the last item that I'm gonna talk about is of course the most requested, which is of course the Colourpop eyeshadow palette that's going to be released at Sephora. Is anybody else's mind still blown how Colourpop is coming into Sephora? Because I'm confused. Like Violet Voss, I can understand. Violet Voss has a higher price point. But Colourpop has always been one of the more affordable brands out there that I'm just shocked that they're not in Ulta and that they're coming to Sephora. Still totally confused on this. But a lot of people have been very hyped. We knew that Colourpop was coming into Sephora. So the eyeshadow palette that is coming is called the Golden State of Mind. It's an all shimmer palette. It's going to be $26. It'll be available October 31st online and in select stores at US and then online at Canada. So we're getting 15 shades for $26. Not terrible, I guess, but for me, my problem is that this is an all shimmer palette. If you've seen me talking about some of the palettes in the past, the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Shimmer Palette, I said I was going to pass over it because it's all shimmers. The Fenty Beauty Holiday Palette, the Galaxy one, I said I was going to pass over it because it is all shimmers. I actually did get the Urban Decay collection sent to me, which was so shocking. I nearly fell over. My husband was like, is this good or is this bad? What happened? Because I was having such a strong reaction to opening it and I was like, no, I'm just shocked. I do have it on my eyes today along with a Heavy Metal glitter liner that came in that collection too, but whew, that was crazy. But it's something that I wouldn't purchase on my own because I don't tend to prefer these all shimmer palettes because I just don't feel like I reach for them enough. I do a lot of matte looks and all matte looks. You know, I have my comfort zone that I do with makeup, and to me, I want to purchase something more practical because a lot of times with these all shimmer palettes, I'm creating an eye look and then reaching for that palette for just like one shade, you know, a lid topper, you know, maybe 2 shades, things like that, but I just don't feel like they're super practical purchases. So that's why I tend to skip over a lot of these all shimmer palettes, and it kind of seems like that's what is the trend right now, is these all shimmer palettes, the metallic palettes. And to me, I'm not mad about it because I know a lot of people get mad with certain trends if they aren't your trend. People are like, this trend needs to be over. And for me, I'm like, this trend can stick around. You're saving me money. It's fine, because maybe the next trend, I'm just going to be like shelling out all my money because I'm like, I can't help it. This trend is just my thing. So the eyeshadow palettes I seem to keep skipping over, but I would skip over this one from Colourpop too because I just don't think it would be a practical purchase for me. And honestly, I didn't do a double take out this one either. It was kind of, I don't know, to me it was kind of bland to me when I was seeing the swatches of it. I was just kind of like, it just didn't do much. It didn't excite me. $26 for the 15 shades. I don't think that's a bad price, and if I were to be interested in it, I feel like I could talk myself into buying something that's maybe a little bit more affordable as my non-practical purchase. And that's when, you know, maybe I would like to buy something on sale with a discount code or something for a more affordable brand that's outside my comfort zone. It's like, well, at least I'm not spending a ton of money on it and then not reaching for it too much. So if the Colourpop palette caught my attention, I would be more inclined to buy that versus like the Urban Decay and the Fenty Beauty, because those are both in like the $50 range, I believe. But the palette didn't speak to me. I still wouldn't want to spend the $26 on it. I don't feel like I would reach for it a ton. I don't think I would get enough use out of it. And again, the biggest thing is I didn't have that strong reaction to it. It didn't make me do a double take. I'm curious to see what else Colourpop is going to be bringing into Sephora. I'm definitely curious about it. I'm open to it. I like Colourpop as a brand. I have a lot from them. I'd love to know, are you so hyped for this palette? These shimmer palettes are your thing. I know I've been talking to some of you guys in the comments. Someone left an interesting comment the other day and it said, I tend to buy these more shimmer palettes because I do the exact same eye look with mattes every day, and then I always reach for a different shimmer as a topper. So she likes to have all these different shimmers so she can, you know, pick a new lid topper basically every single day. And I was like, well, that's freaking sweet. Like, I would totally understand why you would want, you know, to have these shimmer palettes and all these different options if that's something you do. I thought that was a really cool comment. You know, that's not my personal how I do my makeup, but I think it's interesting to see, you know, how we're all different and how, you know, we all have these different makeup vibes. I thought that was pretty cool. So, you know, in my Will I Buy It videos, I'm never trying to encourage people not to buy or to buy. I try really hard not to do that because we're all so different and we all have so many different makeup vibes and what we prefer to spend our money on. And you know, what's practical to me is probably not practical to you, might not be practical to the next person, but we all have like these differences, and I think it's cool. And that's why I like to read the comments, especially on the Will I Buy It videos, because it's fun to see how we are all different. So I'm sure there's going to be a ton of you that are super excited about this Colourpop palette. So let us know what you think about the palette. What do you think about Colourpop coming into Sephora? What do you want to see coming into Sephora next from Colourpop? Alright guys, that's going to do it for this week's Will I Buy It video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this week's video and you found it helpful in some way. As always, I would love to get your comments down below of everything that I talked about this week and also what you would like to see in next week's Will I Buy It video. And as always, if you guys did enjoy this video, I hope that you will give it a thumbs up. I hope that you will also consider subscribing before you go. I will be live on my YouTube channel tomorrow night at 7:30 CST if you want to come by for a live chat. Otherwise, I will see you in Friday's video. Bye.